The thing about note-taking is that it can give the illusion of progress when nothing really changes. So whether we're reading books or studying a course, we're making notes, but fast forward a week and you find that you can't remember anything. It's lost in that history of notes in that big pile and you can't access it. And the problem isn't the fact that you lack effort trying to achieve it, it's the system you're using that is preventing you from learning how to think. So maybe this sounds like you. You've got a reading list of books that you want to read, you've got YouTube videos that you want to absorb and capture the notes for, maybe you've bought a few courses and you want to run through those, or maybe you're studying and you've got pages and pages of notes from lectures that you need in order to pass your exams and write your assignments. So what do? You have this pile of stuff that's building up, and you're trying to put it into the tools, whether that's Obsidian or Notion, and you're trying to organize this chaos. But the idea that putting stuff in is the progress, we're kind of giving ourselves a false start here. The progress is in how we learn the content, how we absorb the content, how we can distill that into our own understanding, not simply the collection of what we have. And ultimately, if you're feeling that you're collecting but not really doing much with it in your notes, you're not alone. This is a very normal approach to note-taking. It's how we're taught when we're younger. Take what we read, highlight the passages, distill that, have a short list of things that you've pulled out, the summarization methods, keep your book list, all of that. It doesn't actually translate, there's no workflow that translates into helping us actually become smarter. So what happens? You start looking at this and you start feeling frustrated that I've got all these notes, or I've got all these things I want to read, but I need more notes. More notes means more knowledge, right? So you think that you need to read more, you need to capture more, you need to study more. But actually, then you think, well, I can't organize this. Maybe it's not the right system, so I'll go and find another way of organizing this. Do I need certain kind of folders, or should I use the power method, the Zettelkasten, and all of these? And of course, the YouTube algorithm is great at recommending new things to try out to keep you on that treadmill of experimentation, the busy work. Or maybe you just think that you don't have the discipline to keep studying and keep the consistency and just get through it. And of course, what we may end up doing is we start thinking maybe a different tool will help. Everybody's talking about Obsidian. Let's go use Obsidian. Oh, Obsidian. People talk about Obsidian and Claude Code. Maybe I can use AI to combine it. But what about Notion? Notion is nice and pretty, and I can organize things visually, and I can share it on the web and all of that. So you can dart from app to app, rebuilding your system, importing your notes, starting over, and in the end, you don't really progress. But of course, the real issue is that you're collecting but not thinking. You are adding more notes, you're adding more things to read, you're organizing, you're doing that productivity procrastination. You're not actually getting in with the subject. And we call this the collector's fallacy. This is where you feel that progress is in the art of collecting, when actually progress is in the knowledge and the insights you gain along the way. And there's a great quote, it's not the destination, but the journey. But actually, it's not the destination or the journey, it's who you become along the way. And knowledge management should be like that. It's who you become as you understand the world around you, as you've read and recreated your thinking. So the problem isn't really about the collecting, it's that you need to focus on transforming what you collect into deep, meaningful knowledge. So how do we solve this? Well, we learn by actively participating in the subject, by reframing what we're talking about in our own words, by building connections. If you want to learn a sport, you play the sport, you don't read about it. If you want to learn to code, you code projects and projects and projects to find the boundaries, the trial and error of what you're doing. And the same is with our note-taking. We need to have ideas, we need to explore them, we need to find where they're false as well as where they're true. We need to find countering arguments, and we need to ask questions and probe deep. That doesn't happen just by passively consuming content. Our traditional way of note-taking is to organize what we learn by topics as though they're files on a computer. But our brain doesn't work like that. We need to build connections between concepts. And those concepts will help spark ideas as we bring new things together. And it'll help with your recall. The more connections you can make with a subject, the easier it is to trip over from one idea to another rather than having them isolated in our mind. And of course, when we apply that to our note-taking, they fail because they're passive. They're just a record of what someone else said. They don't connect to other things. They're just isolated and they live on their own, like it's stuck in a drawer that nobody can reach. And we never revisit them. We don't bring it back in. We don't reassess it. We don't upgrade our thinking. We think if we read it once, that'll always be true. But actually, it may be true when we read it, but our thinking has moved on, that we understand the nuance and why it may not be true. So the goal is not to write notes to archive away. The goal is to write notes to aid our future thinking, to put them in a place where they're accessible, where we can revisit them, where we can connect to them, where we can explore the idea further, where we can connect them with other ideas, and where we can upgrade our understanding of that. We need to think of a note as not just a record of what it is, but actually as a thinking step. We call it our second brain because we can't hold it all in our head at once. So we distill it down into separate notes so we can pull the parts just as when we need them, connect them together, and bring new ideas back to the forefront. So I want you to take away this notion that if your notes don't help you how to think, they're useless. Because without it, what else do they serve? So how do we use our notes to become smarter? I like to refer to this as expert level thinking, where we can become real experts in a given topic because we've explored it, we've assessed it, we've dug in, we've argued against it. And you do that through your note-taking. So the first thing you need to do is rewrite your notes in your own words, not the words of the author you read, not their quotes. You need to re-express what it is they are saying as though you are explaining it to someone else. I like to think of, how would I explain this topic to me, but a younger version of me? That way, I've got a clear way of understanding what I didn't know at the time and making sure that I can bring younger me into the present. Second, you want to break it down into smaller concepts. The smaller the concept, the easier it is to move around and link it to something else. If you've got a concept in a note that is pages long, then you're not going to be able to access it really easily. Just even finding it will be really difficult. And then you'll be relying on your tools to search for parts of a note. And the less filtering you have to do when you're connecting ideas, the better. You can join A to B. You don't have to worry about C, D, and E at the same time. That wastes time. So having smaller atomic notes makes it easier to express your ideas clearly. And I'm a believer that if you can't express a thing clearly, then maybe you don't understand it well enough. And your notes are a good way of doing that when you break it down into their component parts. I like to think of it like Lego. You have a house made of Lego. That's the book that you've read, or the topic. And you break it down into the blocks and you understand each block and where they sit in the big structure. And then you reform your own house based on that. And when you're finished, you can understand how each block relates to the whole. And then finally, you connect your ideas together. And this is where you find the patterns and the correlations between concepts, or the agreements and disagreements. And you can then layer on your own insights, your own thoughts, and say, I believe this because I'm seeing that. I'm going to link those together. And that becomes new original insight. Unfortunately, we have the methods like the Zettelkasten, where we can distill our ideas into atomic notes. But importantly, it adds a workflow where you go from capturing to reframing it in your own words, to then structuring it in your whole body of knowledge. And then you connect your ideas together. And the beauty of that is that you can go through the process very organically. You don't have to worry about folders, and you don't have to worry about software. You're just going through a workflow. What did I read? capture? Do I understand it? Rewrite. How does it apply to everything else I understand? Link. And then what original insights do I have? Connect. It's that simple. And when you do this, you find that you're no longer just copying what other people say. You're able to connect things together, and you're able to develop a much deeper level of thinking for yourself. And that is really magical. That is what draws me to knowledge management, is to see the patterns, hone in, be able to share and educate others, but also be able to listen attentively to what other people are saying and their perspectives, so I can upgrade my understanding as I go. And I've always said, it's not what you capture and it's not what's in your note taking, it's what you go and do with those notes. For me, I love teaching, I love creating content, I love giving people the tools for them to think deeply so they can improve the areas of their life that they're trying to improve, or the mission that they're trying to improve. And I feel like some knowledge can go a long way to helping people be on the right path to where they're going. So remember, if you feel like you're not really getting smarter, don't worry. It's not because you can't learn. Everybody can learn. It's because the system you're using isn't helping you through that process. I want you to start thinking about who you are. If you love note-taking and you think, hey, I'm a note taker, I'm someone who takes notes, I want you to reframe it. Not about the note-taking, but about, hey, I'm a thinker. I'm someone who thinks deeply about subjects. That changes it from being about collecting notes to transforming ideas. And oftentimes you don't need more information. You don't need more books. You don't need more courses. What you need to do is make sure you have fully transformed what it is you have already. So I encourage you to go now, look at your notes that you have, and look at the ones that you haven't rewritten yourself, the ones you haven't upgraded into your own thinking, the ones you haven't connected atomically these ideas together. So remember, the goal isn't to just have more notes. Don't be proud of thousands of notes in your note-taking. Don't be proud of the graph view that shows all the things you've got connected together. Be proud of the process you follow, where you're taking what other people are saying, the things you're learning, and you're distilling that into your own understanding, and you're using that to create original thought. Because when you do that, it doesn't just change how you take notes, it actually changes how you think. So if you like this video and you like the topic that I'm talking about, ironically, I have a book and a course on the very subject called Atomic Note-Taking, which actually dives really deep into the method with examples of how to do this. You'll learn the basics all the way through to becoming an expert in the subject. It's a really lightweight process that you can add and come back to as and when you need it. The most important thing is that when you follow the process, that you're actually using on your real notes, your real knowledge, and that you're using it to really improve your quality of thinking. And certainly if you're doing something like a PhD, this is a great method to organize everything that you're reading in your literature reviews, and that will help you with your dissertation. And if you like this video, do consider giving it a thumbs up, and do consider subscribing, because I'll be covering more on this topic in future videos. Thank you.